Welcome back to the study of the Divine Principle. Today we will study the first chapter of the Divine Principle. From the first part of the Divine Principle is called the Principle of Creation. This chapter is divided in 6 sections. Section 1 is the dual characteristics. Section 2, universal prime energy, give and take action, and 4 position foundation. Section 3, the purpose of creation. Section 4, original value. Section 5, growing period. And Section 6, the physical world and the spirit world. Chapter 1, the principle of creation. Throughout history, people have anguished over the fundamental questions of human life and the universe. This is because no one has understood the root principle by which humanity and the universe were originally created. To approach this topic properly, it is not enough to examine resultant reality. The fundamental question is in the causal reality. Problems concerning human life and the universe cannot be solved without first understanding the nature of God. Section 1, the dual characteristics of God and the created universe. This section will look at God. What is God like? Who is God? And let's see. This is how Divine Principle is starting. We need to understand God first. How can we know the divine nature of the invisible God? One way to fathom his deity is by observing the universe which he created. Thus, St. Paul said in Romans chapter 1 verse 20, "Ever since the creation of the world, his invisible nature, namely his eternal power and deity, has been clearly perceived in the things that have been made, though they are without excuse." So here St. Paul, when say, "so they are without excuse," he is saying that you cannot say that God doesn't exist, because the creation is a testament to the existence of God. You can see God in the creation. That's what he's saying here. Everything in the created universe is a substantial manifestation of some quality of the Creator's invisible divine nature. We can the approach that the Divine Principle is taking here is in order to understand the Creator, we need to learn about the creation which the Creator created. So when we learn the creation, we can extract from that the character of God, character of the Creator, because the creation is a reflection of the Creator. Just as we can know the character of an artist through his works, so we can understand the nature of God by observing the diverse things of creation. Let us begin by pointing out the common elements which are found universally throughout the natural world. Let's take, for example, painter, an artist who is a painter. There are many different painters, but when we look at their paintings, even these painters lived hundreds of years ago. They already passed away, but their artwork, their paintings are still exist, and we can, when we look at those paintings, we can see the artist's character reflected in those paintings. We can see his emotions. We can see. We can distinguish from the paintings what was the character of the artist. So this is this type of the. If we analyze the creation itself, we can find out about the God also, the Creator. Every entity possesses dual characteristics of yang, positivity, masculinity, and yin, negativity, femininity. We see everywhere have plus and minus, male and female, man and woman. All creation is divided in these two categories. Every entity comes into existence only when these characteristics have formed reciprocal relationships within the entity and between it and other entities. For example, some atomic particles possess either a positive charge, a negative charge, or a neutral charge formed by the neutralization of positive and negative constituents. Sorry. The proton is in the middle, and the electron is rotating around the proton. This is by this relationship, it's give and take relationship. The particles can exist. When particles join with each other through the reciprocal relationships of their dual characteristics, they form an atom. Plants propagate by means of stamen and pistil. Animals multiply and maintain their species through the relationship between male and female. As for human beings, God created Adam a man and Eve his female counterpart. The Lord God said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." Genesis chapter 2 verse 18. It's when you look at these words, people might think that, oh, God didn't know that man need a woman, and after he saw that man is alone, that time God realized, oh, I need to create woman for man. It's not like that. It's the verse is talking in this way. However, of course, God knew before creating man that man would need woman. He planned to create both of them. Actually, it was planned from before. However, the Bible is written in this way. That's why. But it's not. We need to understand. We need to understand the context. Understand. We don't need to understand literally. We need to have more deeper insight into the words from the Bible. Thus, we can understand that everything requires for its existence a reciprocal relationship between dual characteristics of yang and yin. We call it yang, the principle calling it yang and yin. But actually, what does it mean is yang means the plus. In particles, the plus is yang, the minus is yin. In atoms also, the plus, the protons are plus, electrons are minus. In plants, stamen is plus, pistil is minus. In animals, male is plus, female is minus. Humans, man is plus, woman is young. Man is young, woman is yin. Animals, male is young, female is yin. Stamen is yang, pistil is yin. This is yang and yin is a terminology taken from the Eastern philosophy, but actually is divine principle has is unifying philosophy and can unify the Asian worldview and the Eastern worldview, Western worldview as well. So that's why we can see sometimes in the divine principle use some terms which are more Eastern type as well. Let's see more about the dual characteristics, this type of separation of creation. In a cellular reproduction, asexual multiplication also involves positive and negative attributes. More fundamentally, however, every entity possesses both an outer form and an inner quality. The visible outer form resembles the invisible inner quality. The inner quality is called internal nature, and the outer form is called external form. If you look at the cosmos, we can see the internal nature of the cosmos are the natural laws, but external form is energy and matter. A human being is composed of an outer form, the body, and an inner quality, the mind. Here, mind is the internal nature and body is the external form. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 7 is saying, "The Lord God formed the man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being." Together they constitute the dual characteristics of a human being. The mind and body, together the human being is a combination of those two dual characteristics. So the human being has a dual characteristic, is a duality. Similarly, all beings exist through the reciprocal relationships within their dual characteristics of internal nature and external form. Particles have an internal nature and an external form, which is energy. Atoms have an internal nature and an external form, which is creating molecules and creating matter. Plants has a plant mind and plant body. There are many studies who confirm that plants have some kind of mind. There was a I don't remember exactly. There was they put a leaf from the tree on the either on the X-ray or and they look at the leaf in this under the X-ray. Let's say X-ray, and after they look in this way at the leaf, they took the leaf and cut a portion of this leaf and put it again and look at X-ray. X-ray again shows the full leaf. They didn't show the cutting part. They couldn't see, or couldn't see that it was cut. So that's the this was some kind of thing that plant the leaves have that X-ray can distinguish, but we would see that is a plant mind. Also, there were many experiences. Mm, there's one famous experience when they took two plants, identical plants, flowers, and one plant put in one place and another plant put in another place. Similar environment, very almost exact. The difference was that for one plant, people who were taking care of that plant were talking very nicely, were saying kind words. You are beautiful. I like you. I love you. You are so lovely. But for another plant, people who were taking care of that plant, they were saying very ugly words. I hate you. You are so ugly. Why you exist? It's this kind of two types of care for the plants. And after some time, the plant which was receiving kind care blossom more and become more beautiful. But the plant which the flower which was hated and said so many bad words, mostly become lost life, become like a dead plant, very quickly died. That's the reason that uh, there is some kind of mind that plant have that can relate to human being. Same, animals have a body and have some instinctual mind. Animals also respond to human emotion. Also, in many times we can human animals can also can serve as a psychological therapy for some people. Humans have body and have mind and body, have conscience. This is the internal and external aspect of creation. Thus, when we look at the creation, we can understand the creator. So the first cause, which is the creator, the first cause of all the myriad things in the universe, must also possess the dual characteristics of internal nature and external force. So divine principle is scientific because it's looking at the creation as a process of cause and result. The cause is the creator and the result is the creation. And because the creation we have, the result has these characteristics, dual characteristics, that we can conclude that the cause also has those characteristics. These original attributes stand in the position of subject partner to the internal natures and external forms of all beings. The first cause have these attributes: original internal nature and original internal form, and also original yang and original yin. And those original attributes stay in the subject position to the all internal nature and external forms of all creation, all beings in the creation, including human beings. We call this first cause of the universe God, and we call God's internal nature and external form the original internal nature and and original external form. In Genesis chapter 1 verse 27, there is some words like that. In the image of God he created him. Talks about man. God created man in his image. So the image of God, image is similar to the human being is similar to the image of God. So human being has internal nature, has mind and body in external form, and also has yin and yang, that are man and woman. So that's why God has those those characteristics as well, because they are created in his image. Male and female, he created them. God, the first cause of all things, also exists based on the reciprocal relationship between his dual characteristics of yang and yin. What is the relationship between the dual characteristics of internal nature and external form, and the dual characteristics of yang and yin? God's original yang and original yin are attributes of his original internal nature. And original external form. In God, the dual characteristics of original internal nature and original external form are in harmony. At the same time, God is the harmonious union of masculinity and femininity. In relation to the universe, God is the subject partner having qualities of internal nature and masculinity. Every creation is God's substantial object partner, formed in his likeness, as a discrete projection of the dual characteristics of God, who exists as the invisible subject partner to all beings. Human beings are object partners embodied at the level of image. The rest of creation are object partners embodied at the level of symbol. The human object partners are called individual embodiments of truth in image. The rest of creation are called individual embodiments of truth in symbol. Human beings are the image of God. The rest of the creation is the symbol of God, symbolize God. So the human beings are most close resemblance to God have. The relationship between God and the universe can be summarized thus. The universe as a whole is a substantial object partner to God. It is composed of individual embodiments of truth, each a unique manifestation of the dual characteristics of God, at either the level of image or of symbol, as governed by the principle of creation. We see human beings, image, and the creation is a symbol. Here we understood, we finished the first section, the dual characteristics of God and the created universe. Next section is called UPE, which stands for Universal Prime Energy. GTA stands for Give and Take Action, and 4PF stands for four position foundation. We are still in the chapter 1. This is just second section. Section 2, universal prime energy, give and take action, and the four position foundation. So universal prime energy, give and take action, between the positions there is give and take action, and the four position foundation. The origin is dividing in two, and they are again uniting. This is one principle that will be very often see in the divine principle later on. So it's good to understand this principle from the beginning, so we can understand divine principle better and understand how God is manifesting himself in creation. God, the creator of all things, is the absolute reality, eternal, self-existent, and transcendent of time and space. The fundamental energy of God's being is also eternal, self-existent, and absolute. It is the origin of all energies and forces that allow created beings to exist. We call this fundamental energy universal prime energy. Through universal prime energy, the subject S and object O, elements of every entity, form a common base. And based on this common base, they enter into interaction. This interaction in turn generates all the forces the entity needs for existence, action, and multiplication. In order to start an interaction, it's important to find a common base. Simple example. When we want to have a relationship with somebody, we often find something common between us, and based on that we can start to create give and take action relationship. For example, you meet somebody and you both support one football team, same football team. So based on that you start to have give and take based on that common base. This is the common base. Or you both like to catch fish, fishing. So based on that, you very easy can create give and take action because you have a common base. So the more you find common base, the more you can create a relationship with people. So this interaction of give and take action generates all forces the entity needs for existence, action, and multiplication. Because when the interaction is created, the power comes, force comes, which this force is generating the give and take action generates force. Based on this force, people can exist, can act, and can multiply. The interaction generating these forces through this process is called the give and take action, or we also calling it give and receive action. For example, to create salt, there are two chemicals, natrium and chloride, and when there is a give and take action between those two, we have a result, we create salt. We can see in the nature these many examples of give and take action between animals and insects and fish. Universal prime energy and the forces of give and take action are in a reciprocal relationship of cause and result, internal and external, and subject and object partners. That's universal prime energy is the position of cause, give and take action is the position of result. Also, the universal prime energy in the position of internal, give and take action is the position of external. Universal prime energy is in position of subject, give and take action is in the position of object. Hence, universal prime energy is a vertical force, while the forces generated by give and take action are horizontal forces. The whole process in which out of God, the origin, two entities are separately manifested. Like God separated himself into male and female like human beings, and then reunited in oneness is called origin division union action. After male and female unite through give and take actions, they create a new union, and this is this is creation of a four position foundation. You see God, subject, object, and union. We call it four position foundation. And God is the origin. The subject and object is a division of the God of the origin, and third is the union. Again, union of this of the subject and object create a new something new. We call it union. So this is the how God is creating the everything. As a result, four positions are formed: the origin, the subject and object partners, and their union. When each of these four enter into give and take action, becoming one, a four position foundation is established. The four position foundation is realized by God, husband and wife, and children. They complete the three stages of origin, division, union, action. God, origin, is divided into man and woman, and by the unity, man and woman creating unit, then they give and take action, they created a union, which is called child, which is something new. The four position foundation is the fundamental foundation of goodness and the realization of God's purpose of creation. The foundation of goodness and realization of God's purpose of creation is the four position foundation. So that's why four position foundation is very important. This is the purpose of creation. God's purpose of creation is the four position foundation. Four position foundation of human being himself, or between his mind and body, give and take action, the person can become resemble God, can become perfect, centering on God. Between man and woman, it creates family. This is the four position foundation, creates children. This is the purpose of creation. And between human being and nature, when human being relationship with nature is creating something, something new. Like you take the things of creation and you make a dish out of that. So you create something new. The human being and creation in relationship, they create something. Uh, they create something new. This is how God created, and this is the purpose of creation itself. It is the fundamental foundation for the life of all beings, providing all the forces necessary for their existence, enabling God to abide in them. Basis for goodness, basis for existence. It is the fundamental foundation for the life of all beings, providing all the forces necessary for their existence and enabling God to abide in them. Like sodium and chloride, they creating salt, basis for existence. Sun and the planets, between relationship between sun and the planets, we have a solar system. If those relationships wouldn't exist, we wouldn't exist. The solar system wouldn't exist. So the relationship between mind's vision and body's action, we can create a good character. So the mind vision, it should come from God, a good vision of goodness. Give and take with the body, and body is acting in accordance with mind's vision, and the person become a person of good character. Therefore, the four-position foundation is God's eternal purpose of creation. Humanity is created in the image of God, creation in the symbol of God. And between their give and take action, we see the ideal world. Because the human beings who are relating with God, they can relate correctly with the creation. They can love creation as God would love creation. They become good stewards. And this relationship creates an ideal world. Creation itself can come closer to God through human beings. All beings which have completed the four-position foundation move in circular, elliptical, or spherical paths. As a result, they exist in three dimensions. As the subject and object partners begin give and take action, the object partner revolves around the subject partner in a circular motion, and thus they become harmonious and unified. In the same manner, the subject partner becomes an object partner to God, revolving around God and thus attaining oneness with Him. Variations in each orbit's distance, shape, state, direction, angle, force, and velocity are manifest as the beauty of creation in its infinite variety. This is the end of the section 2. Universal prime energy, give and take action, and the four-position foundation. Now we will go to the section 3. Which is still chapter 1, the principle of creation, and the next section is called the purpose of creation. Section 3, the purpose of creation. According to Genesis chapter 1 verses 4 to 31, after God completed each day of creation, He saw that it was good. This suggests that God wanted His creations to be object partners, embodying goodness, that he might take delight in them. How can the creation give God the greatest joy? God created human beings as the final step of creation, in the likeness of his internal nature and external form, with sensibility to all feelings and emotions. God blessed them to be fruitful and multiply, and have dominion over all things. Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. We call the three great blessings. First is be fruitful. A human being need to be mature. Second is multiply. A mature person is creating a family and give birth to children, multiplying. And have dominion, third blessing, is a proper stewardship toward the creation. Had Adam and Eve obeyed the divine mandate of fulfilling these three great blessings and build the kingdom of heaven, God would have felt the greatest joy as his sons and daughters rejoiced in the world of his ideal. The three great blessings are fulfilled when the whole creation, including human beings, completes the four-position foundation with God as the center. This is the kingdom of heaven, where ultimate goodness is realized and God feels the greatest joy. This is in fact the very purpose for which God created the universe. The ultimate purpose of the universe, with human beings at its center, is to return joy to God. To this end, all entities have dual purposes. Every entity has dual centers of movement, which pursue corresponding purposes for the sake of the whole and for the sake of the individual. The whole purpose is we can see in the example of a solar system, the example of the Earth, the planet Earth. The whole purpose is that for the planet Earth rotating around the sun is fulfilling a purpose of the harmony of the solar system. Because the sun is the subject, is serving the sun in a sense, revolving around the subject partner. At the same time, the Earth is rotating around its own axis, around itself, so it's fulfilling individual purpose. So both purposes are, both of them are key to survival. So it's not just the whole purpose and not just the individual purpose. Both are important to be fulfilled. So if we transfer this example to human beings, it's there is a society and there is you, or the you and the family and society. The you and family. If you just live for yourself, it hurts the family. If you live just for the family but you don't take care of yourself, it's also bad. So you need both. You need to take care of both of these purposes, whole purpose and individual purpose. These dual purposes relate to each other as cause and result, internal and external, and subject and object partners. Cause and result, internal and external, subject partner and object partner. Hence, there cannot be any individual purpose which does not support the whole purpose, nor can there be any whole purpose that does not guarantee the interests of the individual. Individual purpose is the survival and health. The whole purpose is living for the greater good. Joy is not produced by an individual alone. Joy arises when we have an object partner, whether intangible or substantial, in which our internal nature and external form are reflected and developed. Our object partner stimulates us and helps us to feel our internal nature and external form. For example, an artist's object partner may be an idea in his mind, an intangible object, or the finished painting or sculpture which substantiates that idea. Substantial object. When he visualizes his idea or beholds his work, he is stimulated to feel his own internal nature and external form reflected in it, and feels joy and satisfaction. Yeah, when the artist see his work of art, when he beholds his work, he feels joy and satisfaction. The same God, when he see the creation fulfilling a reflection of him, he behold the work of his creation, God also feels joy and satisfaction. God feels the fullness of joy when he is stimulated by his substantial object partners to feel his original internal nature and original external form through them. He visualizes this first, and after, when this is fulfilled, God feels greater joy. That's why when creation, in the beginning, when God created, everything he said, and it was good. He created the plants and then said it was good. And after he created human beings, and he said it was very good. So this is the creation gives joy to God. When he beholds his creation, he receives joy. When the kingdom of heaven is realized through the fulfillment of the three great blessings and the establishment of the four-position foundation, it becomes the good object partner that gives joy to God. Let us investigate how the kingdom becomes God's good object partner. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, "And God blessed them, and God said to them, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over every living thing that moves upon the earth." Again, this is this four-position foundation. God, human beings, all things of creation, and when it's in harmony, when human beings become fruitful, when they multiplied, and they relate to creation in proper stewardship, the kingdom of heaven is realized. Three great blessings. First is be fruitful, second is multiply, and third is have dominion. This is the purpose of creation. First, be fruitful. The key to God's first blessing is the perfection of individual character. An individual's mind and body are discrete projections and object partners of God's dual characteristics. In order for an individual to perfect his character, he must form a four-position foundation within himself, whereby his mind and body become one through give and take action with God as their center. This is perfected individual when mind body have a perfect give and take action centered on God. An individually perfected person lives as a substantial object partner to God. God rejoices as he experiences his internal nature and external form through the stimulation from a perfected person. Accordingly, when a person realizes God's first blessing, he or she becomes God's good object partner to inspire him with joy. Adam and Eve should have achieved individual perfection. Adam and Eve should then have joined in loving oneness as husband and wife and raised children, constructing a God-centered four-position foundation in their family. This is the second blessing, multiply, when Adam and Eve become husband and wife and raise children. A family or society that has formed the four-position foundation in line with God's ideal is patterned after the image of a perfect individual. The individual feels joy, and likewise God feels joy when each perceives in this family or community the manifestation of his own internal nature and external form. Thus, when God's second blessing is fulfilled, this family or community also becomes a good object partner, giving joy to God. The meaning of God's third blessing is the perfection of a human being's dominion over the natural world. To fulfill this blessing, human beings and the natural world become completely one, thus forming a God-centered four-position foundation of dominion. God experiences the stimulation of his original internal nature and external form through the universe, which is in harmonious union with human beings. When human beings realize God's third blessing, the entire universe becomes yet another good object partner, giving joy to God. Be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion. Had God's purpose of creation been realized in this way, an ideal world without even a trace of sin would have been established on earth. We call this world the kingdom of heaven on earth. When life in the kingdom of heaven on earth comes to a close, people are to enter the spirit world and naturally enjoy eternal life in the kingdom of heaven there. This is the end of section 3.